Oh, how fabulous. Hi, welcome to How Fabulous by Toni & Co. I'm Toni, and in today's episode, I chat to the very fabulous Jodie Rowlands. Or I call her Malto. In fact, we call each other Malto. That's a thing that we did a long time ago when we were both working in advertising at Clemenger. Everybody's worked at Clemenger. Back to Jodie. So Jodie and I have known each other for a very long time. So I'm thinking about 20 years. We met at a big agency. She's a super, super smart and switched on lady and super kind and super giving. That is the thing that strikes me about Jodie, and everybody that knows Jodie will tell you the same thing. She is really interested in people, and she's really interested in bringing out the best in people. She has always had a job that I've never understood, and we'll go into that. She now works, I think she pretty much owns a big wine company, but it's not. She works in IT, so we break that down a bit, and how she sets her goals, how she lives her life, how she got to where she got to be, and how she is really genuinely interested in championing not just women, but people and helping them succeed. And that's a kind of a rare thing these days, I think. But she's funny as all hell, and I adore her. I've even done quite a few jobs for her, and because of her, so interior design, styling jobs, because that's her spirit. Oh, I know someone who can do this, and she'll say, yep, 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 and not expect anything in return. She's a gold nugget, this one, Jodie Rowlands. I hope you enjoy listening to this episode. I loved catching up with her, and yes, don't forget to subscribe and follow. Hello and welcome to How Fabulous by Toni & Co. I am Toni, and today my very fabulous guest is Jodie. Okay, I've got to just say it normally. Jodie. Hello, Jodie.
Hello.
Because every time I see Jodie, because we always have this, well, we have this thing, we still do it, we go, Malto!
And I need to respond with, Malto!
And then it's a singing thing and it's all happiness. But hi, Jodie, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. Now, Jodie, you are, well, actually, hang on, let's go back. So, Jodie, we've known each other for a very long time, way back in the Clemenger days. So this is Clemenger, which is advertising, for those people that don't know who Clemenger is, but if you're in the industry, I think we assume everybody does know who that is. And so that was a really long time ago. I've seen you get married, have children, have an amazing, amazing career that I still don't understand exactly what you do. So you must demystify that today.
Maybe. I will.
Yes, yes. You have recently finished at L'Oreal, where you pretty much owned L'Oreal, didn't you?
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I was the Director of IT for Australia and New Zealand.
Wow, just get that. Just say that one more time, please. The Director of...
I know. Do you know what? It sounds really fancy, but I was leading a bunch of amazing people to do some really cool IT projects and help the business.
There you go.
Yeah.
But also owning L'Oreal. That's actually what happened. Anyway, so you finished up there now.
Yes.
And you've gone to another amazing business to spread the joy.
Yes.
And are you also owning that one?
No, I do not own this one.
Where are you working now,
So
Jodes?
now I'm working for Treasury Wine Estate, which is a large wine company that owns about 36 different brands.
Including
Penfolds, which most people would be familiar with.
Everybody knows a Penfolds.
And other beautiful brands like Coldstream and Seppelts and Squealing Pig and Pepperjack.
Pepperjack, I know. And also Seppelts. Seppelts is that the one
sort of Grampians way?
Yeah. And you can go downstairs to the basement.
Possibly. I haven't been to all of them yet.
Yes, I feel like I did that. We went to I don't know, my brain's going somewhere else now. Hang on, I'm going to refocus.
Yes.
Stop. Okay, yes.
So yeah, lots of beautiful brands, and I am now the director of IT, specialising in supply. So
hang on, director of IT, specialising in
supply. So where this is probably quite new for me is supply for in the wine industry is actually agriculture to export. So I used to work on IT projects which were all finished goods. So like beautiful makeup would come to us from Paris and we'd be selling it in a number of different places in Australia. But now it's about helping winemakers. So how do they get the most out of their crops and the wine production and the quality of the wines, and then all the way into bottling and then export. So my job is the IT systems that help them do that.
And that sounds very technical and
yes.
and beyond my comprehension. Can you break that down?
Sure. So actually the good news for anyone who's even considering working in IT is it is actually an industry for everyone. So
see, that sounds contrary to the belief in my head.
So I would say that my job is to organise very smart technical people to build systems and do things, but it's really all about common sense and logic and understanding, getting that really deep understanding of what do you want this to do. Like at the end of building this, what do you hope, how do you hope people will use it? How will it help people do their jobs better? So kind of if you think back to advertising, it's about having a really great brief. When you would brief someone to do something, I guess work on what is that brief of the system you want to build, and then the really clever people come together and build it and make it happen.
So even though, so I guess for me, thinking if someone is working in IT, I'm imagining people literally,
like
coding and like doing that.
Yes.
But it's not that at all, because to me, I go, oh my God, Jodie's wasted in IT. Because if you know anything about Jodie, which you don't, because, well, unless you do, because you know her and you're watching this, but if you don't, what I know of you, from way back meeting you, gosh, literally 20 years ago, it was about that, that you are a real people person, incredibly smart, and incredibly good at bringing people together to get them to do stuff, you know, and explaining how things get done. So I'm like, what do you mean you're in IT? So I don't understand how you're wasted there. You need to be doing something else. But what you're saying is actually you are doing that. But then passing on all of the information that you gather to then pass it on to the tech heads.
Yes, so I'd say I'm a translator and a manager of people.
There it is.
I would say, oh, it sounds like you're saying this, but then the technical guy's saying that. Are you guys talking the same thing?
Yeah.
And you know, when you're in another country and you only catch every second word.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens when business people speak to IT people. Like they speak two different languages.
And that's why you being that middle person is perfect.
Yes.
Because you're really good at being able to say stop. Don't just talk about that to that, and don't just nod your head. I'm going to get to the bottom of it and actually make sure it all fits together.
Is that that's 100% what it is. And I also think I'm not too proud to say actually I don't understand what you're doing. Like so it sounds like you're saying this, is that right? And like, you know, when you have to sort of play it back, and then the technical person will again speak more technical jargon, and the business person will again talk more about what they want that you maybe don't quite understand, and you have to just keep asking questions and saying, is that what you want? Is that what you're building? Can you see that you're building this and what you think is amazing, and you're going to give it, you're going to hand it over, and they're going to say it's not what I wanted.
And so, like, going from working for a company like L'Oreal in beauty and delightful things like that, and then working now with winemakers and agricultural people, like that must be a huge kind of a shift.
Well, yes and no. I feel like my friends have been joking that I only work with beautiful products, so I only work with light makeup or wine. So, and I have been, you know, researching my whole life to work in wine.
You are so well versed in it, aren't you?
So I actually think the same applies regardless of what the product is. Like the same logic, the same common sense.
Yeah, I see
what the product is at the end actually doesn't matter. Similar to if you were making your brief for a commercial or a photo shoot, they could be completely different photos in the outcome. But it's really understanding what do you hope to get out of it at the end. And IT really comes down to what is the problem that you're solving. Like no one should build systems just because they want them. It should be for a reason. So we're either building an e-commerce website because we want people to be able to buy wine, or we want a system that makes it easier to enter the crops that came in and what grade the fruit was. But there's always a reason, and it's understanding that reason.
And that's you. And look, I think that, so did you imagine that this was something you were always going to be getting into IT? Because
no,
you went to uni? Also Jodie is from Adelaide as well, another Adelaidean. Which we didn't bump into each other, which is so weird. My previous guest is from Adelaide as well.
My background was probably my earlier jobs were sort of project management, and then I moved into advertising, which was project managing IT analytics type projects. And I think there's this beautiful convergence now where there's like IT and digital, or IT and sort of digital, and now that's kind of considered the sexy stuff of IT. So it used to be IT or marketing, and now digital is actually a bit of both of that. So yeah, I would say it definitely wasn't an intentional career path, but I felt like there was so few, and like you said, when I first walked in tonight, people will go, oh, I didn't realise you worked in IT, and that there's this perception of what does IT look like.
Yes.
And
does it look like, well, I mean, okay, well, here's a good time to talk about this then. Do you get clients or people that you need to go and see, you turn up looking like you do, and because you look how you look, do you have them thinking, why are you here?
Yeah,
for the
I would
IT?
say that there's...
Have you had that throughout your career?
Yeah, I've had... Yeah, it actually happens quite a lot. I'd say in my last role, probably half of my direct reports were men and half were women. And if I had somebody coming into L'Oreal and they were like, oh, we're here to talk to you about AV for the whole building, and I'd have like my infrastructure manager who was a man, he would be like, he'd say, oh, I'll introduce you to Jodie, and they were like, oh, Jodie, do you work for Joe? And I was like, no, actually.
How dare you? He works for me.
So there's always that assumption that the guy is going to be the head of IT. But what I do see is a lot of invites to come to IT events. They're like, we would love to have a female from IT. And then I was like, well, would you love to have me there? Or do you just try to tick a box with having a female there? But it's often a room, of about 150 males, sort of middle-aged males.
Yeah, right. And then you just go in there and do your thing and just show them how it's done.
But I mean, I'm under no illusion that I can't do this job without those technically brilliant people. So my job is the translation, the bringing people together, getting them to talk openly, sharing what they need to do, and then getting the really clever people to just do their jobs. It's there's some people who are technically really brilliant but incredibly introverted and struggle to communicate. And you say, I will help you with that part of it so that you can get your job done.
See, I can imagine that you would be like that because, and this is why I think, one of the reasons that I think that you are so fabulous and why you would be good in that role is that you're very good at treating everybody in the same way and
actually
supporting the people that you work with and your friends, and I've been on the receiving end of that with not only as a friend but also you've engaged me to actually do work for you, and for no other reason than that you just you know, you just, oh no, that's usually me, the phone usually ringing, that you just do that. That's how you are. You're one of those people that, you know, there's always a project happening. You're always doing something. You're always supporting someone or going, hey, you should meet that person or do that person, and you know, and it's honest and it's genuine. It's not sort of, I'm going to do that because I want something bad. You know, and an example is here when you walked into this location. You know, straight away you were like, oh yeah, I can help you do that, and and then that was it. And it's fantastic, and I think that that's a great role model for people that, you know, would be working alongside you, watching you be a strong woman in a male-dominated industry, but being generous with that, with those skills, and with that kind of attitude.
I think thank you for saying that. And I think that it is something that comes quite naturally to me. I feel like I think of all my friends and all my colleagues and people that I work with, and it's almost like it's catalogued in my head of
it kind of feels like that. Because if I've asked you something, you go, you should meet this.
But I feel like this is their interest, what they're good at, what they're looking for in their career, what they do in their personal life, and I feel like the matches happen almost like a bit like a beautiful mind, but just in a not quite as beautiful and not quite as clever as someone with maths, but almost like a people version of that, of how it comes together. And you know, I'm quite new in my new job, so I haven't got to know everyone yet, but I'd say in my last role I had a team of sort of 24 people, and I think one of the most important things to do in a senior role or as a leader, not as a woman or as a man, but as a leader, is to just care about people, like is to get to know them and what do they want to do with their career, what do they do in their personal life, not in a creepy way, but just like how can you help them as well, and just
do you think that's
care
because
about them.
If you do that, if you approach it in that way, do you think that you get better results? Yeah,
100% you do, but I feel like for me it's not a choice. It's not I'll make this person feel like I care about them because then they'll work harder for me, but I think it's just a natural outcome of what happens. Is I think you know, and I think a lot of it's reflective as well now that I'm older. I think that I've learnt to do these things for the way other people have helped me. So I think sometimes it takes someone saying, instead of just asking about the work and what are we going to do next and when will that be finished, just saying, so what do you actually want to do? Like, I think you're great at X, Y, Z. Have you considered this? And I think sometimes it takes somebody else planting a seed for them to say, have you considered doing this job? Or I think when I was younger, I was quite passive in just thinking if I work really hard and put my head down, people will notice and then I'll get that job, then I'll get that job. But it actually takes like stepping up and saying, can I have a go at this? Or somebody suggesting, have you considered doing this? And you're like, oh, but I haven't got the skills to do that. I haven't done it before. But I think when leaders are kind and generous and they say, why don't you have a go? Or why don't you ride along? Why don't you see if you're interested?
I would be really interested to talk to the people that have worked with you, because I could imagine that there would be a lot of voices in unison saying, yeah, absolutely, she helped me. Not, oh my God, that was a terrible experience. And I felt...
You know what, when I just finished up my last job, I felt like I had the most beautiful festival of like cards and flowers and...
I'll bet you they miss you a lot.
Like photo montages and drinks and things. It was...
Because you would have made it,
and it made it really hard to leave, but really hard to leave, really, really hard choice. But I also went, it's time for me to step out of my comfort zone and do that next hard, well not hard, but different thing.
Yeah, well the next challenge I think is the thing, because you've been there for a while and you know, you need to, there does, I think there comes a time in your life where you just, you know, you have to keep moving. I guess you probably had done what you needed to do there, and then that's the next thing for you to, you know, to go off and do and spread that sort of magic dust everywhere that you do. And so do you think that then you know, do you think helping women in particular is something that you're very interested in doing, or is it just across the board?
Yeah, I'd say it is across the board. I think like feedback's really hard as well. It's really hard to tell people
because you're in a different position now, because you're up here, and you still have to be relatable and kind and still be you, because otherwise you wouldn't have got that job. But there's a thing that has to happen.
I think that I think what I've learnt with a lot of coaching and also with experience is that there's ways that you can share things that is like easier for people to take on board. And I think if I think back, people have said, oh, have you know things like nice girls don't get the corner office, stop being so nice all the time.
Well, you proved them wrong, didn't you?
So I'd say maybe that wasn't such great feedback, but I think now I've learnt ways to give people smaller pieces of feedback more often, so that I think people, when they first hear it, it's a bit, oh, that hurt a bit, but then you go away and they think about it, and the next day they were like, oh, actually, you know, you're right with what you said, and I've thought about it and stuff. But sorry, back to do I think I need to help women more than men? No, I don't, but I think there's a really particular time in women's lives, especially when they leave to have children and then come back into the workforce, where I think it is important that women kind of reach out and help bring them back. And
because it is a really, I mean, you and I have both had children. You've, you know, had more children than me.
Just two.
Way more. Like you've had so many more. Double, at least double. And it is quite it's a challenging time coming back into the workforce, you know, from being at home. And do you like how at this location there's all of the industrial noises? I love it.
Yes, I do like it.
It makes it very I don't even know what the word is. Authentic. Okay, so it's authentically industrial. What was I even saying?
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. So I've forgotten what I was going to say.
When you have like 100 children.
Oh yeah. So when you have children, right? So you go away, you have your children, and then you still come back and you keep trying to work and do all these things, and you're flipping, juggling, and you're trying to drive and have food and keep them alive and all this sort of business. It is. So going back into a big corporate, or going back into even a smaller space, and I know from my experience, it's a really quite a scary place to be, and it is really quite unsupported.
And you know,
I was working on my own as a freelancer, but you know, connecting with lots of different groups, doing different things.
And you know, I had my first child 14 years ago. It's his birthday this weekend. And I remember when I came back part-time, it was, well, you can't do that job, but you can do this job because you'll be behind the scenes. And you know, I can't say to people, you're not here on a Thursday, you need to be here every day.
Wow.
And I just think that I mean, organisations and corporates in general have got a lot better at this, but then saying, how can you come back? And you know, things like job sharing, but also acknowledging that someone might want to job share for a year or 2 years, and then their children might be older, and then they want to ramp it back up and get back to a full-time. Whereas I think we're still only at that stage of saying, I gave you a job share, you should be happy, I'll just leave you there now. And I think it's that constant check-in of, does this still work for you? Does this still work for you as a pair? Do you want to take on a bigger job now?
Even after 6 months it could change.
You
know, because you know, the very fact that you've had a child makes you change in many different ways. So you know, it might not suit in 6 months or 12 months or whatever, you want to come back and do whatever.
And you know, I think if you want someone who can achieve a lot and multitask,
definitely get a mum on board, because we know exactly what's going on. And I mean, I definitely think I got more organised and more able to do a lot of things after I had our son, and then our 2 cats. Definitely more organised.
And I think, you know, as my children have got older as well now, is I see them trying to manipulate and trickery to get what they want.
And
I think you see a lot of that behaviour in the workplace as well. Of little tantrums and stuff. And you're like, you know, I've got 2 12 and 13-year-old kids at home, so I've seen these moves before.
I'm very much onto you, actually. Very, very, very much onto you. And so what do you do then to, I was going to say what do you do to unwind, but I've kind of seen what you do to unwind, and it's like do a triathlon. I'm not sure it's unwind really, is it? But you are very much into that. And when did you get into that? Like, is that is that an essential part of your being able to work and to?
Yeah, I think it is for me. And I think like exercise has always been a big part of my life. I think it's so that I can eat and drink what I like mostly. But it's definitely about doing something for me before it's work or before it's kids. So I go, that is time for me. If it's going for a walk, I'm quite into bike riding now. And then this summer I started swimming in the bay. I started
with the sharks.
With the sharks. I did a thing, it was about 5 years ago, where I thought every year I'm going to pick a new event or something hard to do, something that I haven't trained
much
for.
Like you. Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm going to do a half marathon, and then I did that, and I was like, I'm going to do that 100k Oxfam walk, or I'm going to ride my bike 200 kilometres in the hills up near the snow, or I'm going to swim in the bay every day in winter. Or, you know, I just try and pick something that I go, that would be hard, and I can't do it. But I'm a big believer, and I think this, especially in work and in exercise, is you can't achieve what you don't measure. So
say that again. You can't achieve what you don't measure. Oh, that's nice. I'm writing that down. Stand by, please. Continue.
So I think at work, if people say, oh, we want to get this done, this done, this done, or I want to be able to do a marathon, unless you sign up for a marathon, or unless you're very specific about what you want to do, you won't do all those runs and all that training to do it, because there's like a judgment day comes around, right? This day comes around where you've got to run a certain distance, or you've got to ride 200 Ks, but you don't go, I would like to ride 200 Ks, and the next day you get on your bike and do it. Is you've got to spend 6 months going, let's do a 50k bike ride, let's do a 100k bike ride, let's do a 150k bike ride, and you've got to do lots of things to get there.
Yeah. Where did you get that thing from, that drive from?
I don't know. It's funny, my dad...
Do you feel like you were like that when you were kind of in school?
Yeah.
Like when you were a teenager?
I don't know that I applied myself to study like that.
Oh, I did.
But my dad, he actually, when I went to Adelaide recently for work, and he gave me a little letter and that he had written. I think he wrote it to read at my wedding, but he'd left it at home and forgot it.
Dad never.
And he found it in his drawer, and it had this thing in there that said, Jodie's always had this will of the girl that could. And he said, I don't know where she gets it from, but she just has it, and she has it in spades. And he said, anything that you want to do, you just go and do it.
Oh,
and he said, when I was about 4, he said, me and my sister got skipping ropes, and my sister went, no, can't do it.
And you were like,
went inside. He said, you were like outside until, you know, it was getting dark, and they were like, come inside. And you were like, I'm going to skip.
And your little feet were bleeding, and your little hands had calluses.
Yes. Like, I will do it. And I was out there for 18 days in the rain and the snow.
I didn't eat, but you didn't.
But I did it, and I skipped. So maybe I you know, it wasn't quite that dramatic. It was maybe, you know, I don't know how long
maybe just your feet were bleeding.
Just a little bit of blood.
Yeah, and maybe like 1 or 2 calluses, not on every kind of thing. But maybe it was a little bit of hail.
I do feel like if I say I'm going to do something, like it has to happen. And in personal life, if I say, oh, let's catch up, or oh, I should connect you with someone, that actually means I'm sending you an email.
I know, it does.
It doesn't mean,
and you go, ding, it's there.
It doesn't mean, oh, hey, we should catch up, or you should meet such and such. It means it's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think, I mean, I find this quite hard at work when there's lots of talk, and then I go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What's actually going to happen?
Yeah, you need to.
How are you going to do this? because I take everything on face value when someone says it, that it's...
Well, that's your belief system, because if you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel the same, unless I get really busy and then I don't do it. But if I want to do something, you know, if I go, I'll come down on a Sunday morning, which is kind of different but the same, but you know, I want it done now. And I'll come down and I'll go, gosh, I'm going to change the lounge room and the dining room around, and I'll just do it. Yeah. You know, or I'll say it, blah, 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 you know, in a similar way. And if someone's going to do something, then they should do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that kind of combined with the connecting people is, once I believe in somebody, it's like then I have like even stronger reason to think, why wouldn't I connect these people?
That's the fuel mixed with the thing, and it goes
yes. So when I hear somebody needs to redecorate something, I was like, of course I'm going to call Toni and then connect you with them, because I trust you and I know that you'll do it as well. Oh,
Jodie has sent so many clients my way. It's so beautiful.
But it's like I would direct anyone to you that needed anything organised. Like, I asked you to help organise my wedding day. So that's like, I mean, that would be
beautiful wedding.
If you said, I'm not a wedding organiser, but I was like, I would trust you to do things and organise them and make them happen. And then I'd trust you with styling, and I'd trust you with producing something. But it's, I think once you have belief in somebody, and like you're right, maybe it is that aligning to your own sort of your own personal beliefs as well. And I was like, oh, that person is a doer and getting things done, and I have absolutely no questions in hooking them up with other people.
Yeah. Do you reckon that you're kind of your... oh my God. Sorry, I can't talk right now. Did your heart go? No, it was just oh, sorry about that. Just a little heart joke. I'll just wet my whistle again. I'm so sorry. It's so unprofessional. It's so relaxed here. It's so real. Fabulous. It's so real. Just keeping it real. Now, what was my thought train? God, do you think that your energy, and I know what I think, but do you think that your energy and your drive rubs off on people? For example, does it rub off on your husband?
I wish it would rub off.
Oh, did he go? Don't touch me! I don't want it to rub off.
Look, I think he finds it a bit much at times.
But perfect balance. I love it.
Yes, but he's probably, he's an accountant by trade, so he's a lot more. I'm still very structured, but he's, I don't know, we're very, very different. I'd say it doesn't rub off on him, but I would say at work, yeah.
I could imagine you'd be like a little tornado.
Yeah, I'd be like, come on guys.
Doors open.
Like, but I think you have to, like I said, I like measurement, and I like to say, what are we doing?
I'm going to use that. You can't achieve what you don't measure. That's fantastic.
Like, what are we going to do? When are we going to do it by? Yeah. And it could be like the fun stuff. What culture things are we going to do? What projects are we going to deliver? Yeah. What things are we going to fix? And there might be all different buckets of work. And when are they going to be done? Who's doing it? Who's accountable? Yeah. And then let's talk about it once a week or once a fortnight.
Yeah.
And I think accountability is really important at work. When there's, oh, we're going to do this thing, where? It's like, who's the where? Who? Yeah. Is Toni doing it? Are you doing it?
Yeah, and I think that's a thing, because a lot of people talk about, we'll do it, but I like to, and like you have to ask the questions. What do you mean you're going to do it? When? Where? What date? Here's the date. Shall we look at the date now, shall we?
Yes.
Oh, it's that. So you go, oh shit. Yes. Because you and I were the only ones that would organise like catch-ups through claims and things like that. So we're doing it! It's happening because we want it to happen.
Yes.
And I like that. I like that.
Because you're right, like those things don't happen without someone. And when I say measurement, like you said, is setting a date. It's like, well, that's the date. And, you know, if 8 out of 10 people can come, we'll do it. We mightn't get 10, but 8 people are going to get together.
And so what do you think, what do you think you're going to be doing, say, in the next 10 years, in about 10 years?
I think, well, maybe there's what I think and what I, no, there's what I hope and what I have to make happen myself is I really enjoy what I do in IT, but I think my next move is to sort of step out of IT and do this more at an organisation level.
Yes.
So it's like, what's the most important things for the organisation to do? So at the moment, I'd say I'm working on all prioritising and organising the IT component of it. But when you take it up that next level, it is what would make this whole organisation better, and should they be spending more money and resources on HR or IT or branding or marketing, and help them with distilling all of those ideas into more actionable plans for a whole organisation.
Yeah, I can totally see you doing that.
I'm not sure what the role is called.
Yeah, I don't know. But and so this is the thing. If that's what you think you'll be doing, that's actually what you'll be doing.
And if you say 10 years, I was like, I'm also quite impatient.
Yeah, so that's probably, you know, a lot earlier than 10 years.
5.
Yeah. 5. Definitely.
5. Definitely. If we train hard, we will get there.
Yeah, and so any more, say, casual marathons or sort of triathlons or
so I'm back into bike riding, and I think the next thing is to sign up for a bigger ocean swim. I still get a little bit scaredy out there. It gets a bit sharky and dark, and you know when you swim out quite far.
I'm going to ignore it. It's not me. Sorry, I thought I'd done
yeah, I was going to say, you know, sometimes, I don't know if you've done this, but when you swim and you go out further, the water all of a sudden gets that little bit colder.
Yeah, and then you start hearing music.
Yes, and it looks darker and deeper.
You literally can hear music.
I think I would like to do one of those sort of longer swims and just get past that little,
like a channel swim.
No, not like
with the oil. With the what do they use? Like duck fat or something. It's like literally pig's fat or duck fat or something.
No,
weird.
I'm thinking more like maybe just like a pier to pub kind of thing, but a bigger swim, because it's quite intimidating with people swimming close by you as well. Yeah, but I haven't signed up, so that means it's not happening yet. So
yeah, well, you need to measure it.
Yeah.
So you need to get onto that, Jodie.
I know, I do need to sign up. There is a friend of mine, Emma, who I've been swimming with, and there's a swim on what's that middle day of the year, the coldest, longest day of the year?
Winter solstice.
Yes, there's a swim on that day.
Oh gosh. Where? In Melbourne?
Yeah, like down at Brighton. I said maybe we should do that.
Well, I'll meet you for like a whiskey afterwards.
I said if we can swim that day, then we can swim any day.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, like over COVID, I started running, which is, it's a miracle. Like, it's so bizarre. It's like saying, yeah, I started driving trains.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just so ridiculous. But that was, you know, and I loved it for a while, and then I just stopped. Got dark, and I just didn't do it.
Maybe you achieved.
Well, maybe I achieved, but maybe I need to measure it.
Yes.
And go, actually, I'm going to do 10, and therefore, how do I reach that 10?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I think I'm just having an epiphany right now. And also, that's what I'm going to do. I think I have to do that.
So have you heard of a thing called a BHAG? It's called like a big, hairy, audacious goal.
Say it again.
BHAG. Big, hairy, audacious goal.
BHAG,
yes.
Right? Okay.
So a BHAG is a goal, and it has to be like big and hairy and audacious to be a BHAG. If you say I want to run 5Ks, you go, I can probably run. I could do that.
Oh.
Well, you might think that.
Well, everyone can do that. Of course I can do that.
But if you set a BHAG, it's like it's almost something that you go, it's going to be really, really hard for me to achieve this.
Half a marathon, 10Ks.
And it has to be big and hairy to go, there's a chance that I might do it and I mightn't make it.
Might not do it, yeah, right.
So, and then you go, then if you achieve that, like, you know, like people who climb, like the free solo guys that climb mountains with no ropes and stuff. Like, it has to be something where they try, and I didn't make it the first third time, but then I did it.
So it's an epic thing.
Yeah, it's epic, and you go, I'm going to have to do a lot to make sure I can do it on the day.
Yeah, right.
It needs to be a little bit out of your reach. Yeah, maybe you need to set yourself a little BHAG.
I feel like you're putting a lot of pressure on me, Jode. So, I mean, let's wind it up, all right?
So that's it. She's signing up for 42 kilometres.
Yeah. BHAG. Want to do a BHAG? Do a BHAG?
Or you could just do something for fun.
Okay, I'm going to put a challenge out to everyone to do a BHAG and find out what it is, and we're going to do it. And that's what I'm going to do. It's a BHAG. You started a thing.
Oh, good.
BHAG.
Just so you know, I didn't actually start it. It's a thing. I didn't make up the acronym. Don't let people think I started this.
Oh, like you started L'Oreal. And own it. And Treasury Wine.
Yeah, and Penfolds. I started that one too.
Well, anywho, who's going to fact
Doesn't
check?
matter.
No one's fact checking.
Oh, they will.
Okay, we'll just put it back on me. Okay, so there's a BHAG and I'm going to do it, and it's all because of you, and I'm going to measure all this stuff.
Oh, good.
Oh, yes. See how you spread the joy? Like every time you do, it's like, oh my God, I'm off and running. So I can imagine what your team would be
But
all
I'm
about.
sure you do work things in your business that are BHAGs as well. Like I'm going to start a podcast from nothing.
Oh yeah, that was really hard. Yeah. It was so hard.
So yeah, don't think it has to be exercise.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm thinking about all these things though. But just the whole measuring kind of, making yourself by measuring, you make yourself accountable, and you also chunk it down. You break it down.
Yeah, you're like, what are the steps I have to do to get there?
But that's like, doing a production or a house or whatever, getting that budget, and then going, okay, so I'm going to work backwards, and then how do I achieve that?
Yeah, I don't think any of this is new for you. I just think we've put names to it.
Oh, I like it.
There's made you realise you're doing it.
I always feel so inspired when I end up speaking, when I speak to you and we talk about stuff, and there's always something brilliant going on. So yeah, stand by for the next brilliant thing that Jodie does as well. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story and your inspiration and your BHAGs and your measures and your all that business and the wine stuff, and just letting us know some of the stuff that you do and demystify IT.
Yeah,
because I feel like you've told me about 16 times what you do, and I kind of sometimes, like, it is so foreign, but I think I totally understand what you do now.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's great.
And I think that there's there'll be people who are studying marketing and that should be thinking, I'm good at organising things. It doesn't have to be just marketing campaigns. Like it could be digital projects or analytics. Or building of systems, all of that. There's just as many project managers and business analysts and testers as there are like the full-on developers and coders.
You need to go into year 11 and 12 schools and talk to them about that and have a chat to them.
Yeah. I mean, something really brilliant that I saw at my new role at Treasury is my boss, Janine, used to go to a coffee shop around the corner, and she said the girl that worked there was absolutely gorgeous, like really friendly and vibey, and she said that she was looking for a job, that the coffee shop was closing down. I think it was her parents actually, and she said, why don't you come work with us? And she said, I don't know, I'm studying law, I don't know anything about IT. She said, oh, you'll be right, we can teach you that stuff. We just need, you know how you have the level 1 support, the people who my computer's not working, I need help with this. I said, we'll teach you those things. It's the same 30 things that break all the time, and we'll give you the information. You're amazing with people. And now she works 3 days a week while she's studying law.
Oh, stop it. Really?
Yes.
Love that.
So good.
That's excellent.
And I think, for someone like Janine as well, it's another woman's, supporting other women.
Yeah.
But to think outside the box, that it doesn't need to be someone with an IT background.
Thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
You're right. And it is. Half the people that have, ever worked for me, what's on that piece of paper means something, obviously, to a point. But I meet them, or I'll talk to them.
Yeah.
And go, oh, yep, I get you. You get me. And you're the right,
Yeah, and I think people with enthusiasm can do anything.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's why you own the whole of Melbourne. So anyway, thank you so much, Mata. It's been lovely seeing you again. And we'll have you back again for some more fabulous inspiration.
Sure.
Think of some of these little quotes that you can bring in next time. Okay,
sure. Maybe next time we'll have a wine.
Yes.
Yes.
BHAG wine. Bye, my friend.